Hello YouTube, and welcome to another general vlog video. Today we are kind of going house hunting. I'll explain that a little bit. One of the places that we're going to look at is coming up. Right now we are in Huntsville, Ohio, and this is within my school district, which I'm doing this video backwards. I'm actually going to do two videos. One's going to be an explanation video of what I'm doing and what I'm looking for, and the other one is going to be this video actually that will be going around and showing you. I think we're going to go look at two houses and 3 or 4 vacant lots, maybe more, who knows. But we're driving down the road right now, and we're going to stop off at this one. Now we're not going to get out and go look, wander around, poke around or anything, just simply because I have asked for permission before to look at these places to buy, but not now. I have not recently asked, and without recent permission, I'm not comfortable with doing it. I wouldn't want them to do it to my land, and I won't do it to their land. So we've got a semi behind of us, so I'm going to start, well, actually, there's the first disappointment right there. All right. Well, now my first disappointment is the mobile home is gone. That had to have just happened because it was just here. And basically, I would still be interested in this property. I don't like that it's on kind of a main road. Let me try to zoom you out here. There's that building there, and then there's a couple buildings back behind of it. I know everybody's going to say, oh, I see the door opening and closing, that's just the wind. Yeah, there was a mobile setting right here, and it is now gone. And I was looking at something that would maybe be move-in ready. Well, you know, a structure already on it, and that is definitely not going to work here. Not saying that this one's out. The price should come way down now. It needed some work, but it was a newer mobile, and when I say newer, I'm within the last 20 years. But we are on a very busy road here. I don't know, let me try to get you over here. Of course, as soon as I say that, don't see very many vehicles. But this is a very busy road, and I don't really want that, but I would have accepted it with the mobile on it at the right price. So let's go on to the next one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I just messed up on filming, so we're gonna go back and redo this one again, just in case. Now, we're standing here looking at this piece of property. Let me zoom you in. And if you'll see that cluster of trees right there, if I can get it to zoom other than on my fingernail, that cluster of trees right over in there where I just pointed, I'm trying to do it again. Anyways, that's where we just were. That was a main road. Now we're off the main road. So this property here, I looked at a while back, and there was an auction here, and there used to be a house sitting right here, an old farmhouse. Doesn't look by the footprint, but it was a pretty good sized house, but it was pretty run down. Now, this piece of property also included that building and that piece of property, but not the farmland. Even this land right here, it didn't include any of this farmland. It could have included this land, but I don't think that it did. But I know it didn't include everything that's over in there. It didn't sell. So one of the things that I remember, the guy was a weapons collector, and they were auctioning off a bunch of that. And I bought some, I think I bought a car and maybe a camper and a boat from here. I don't remember exactly what all I bought from here, to be honest. But it's a beautiful piece of property. They are using that open building over there. There's a dump truck in there and a broken down car sitting over there. But I don't think well, I know that they'll get rid of the property for the right price. And it's got beautiful trees. It's a good little chunk of land. It's not huge, but it's enough to do what I want to do. But I doubt that I could afford this part of land behind me and these two pieces over here. Now, there is a possibility that, I think he wants to keep either this land or this land in front of us. So I don't think he'd have a problem selling me what's behind us and him keep this. Now, if it was cheaper to buy this, I wouldn't mind my building being across a little street. As you can see, everybody comes down here and does burnouts. But we're not looking at much land over here to build. But this would be great for like shed to house. But I don't know how well you could do a full-blown larger size home on it. All right, so we're gonna go on down the road. I'm just gonna keep you recording. That way you can see how close we are to the other piece of property. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you about the other piece of property. It's down here by a buddy of mine's house that has now passed away. This house burnt. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful farmhouse, and it burnt. So the property is just set vacant. Now they do, I turned my turn signal on to go around this curve. Oh boy, what a weirdo. Anyways, it had some great outbuildings. They're getting tired of the upkeep on it. Having to mow and weed eat and take care of things. Now, from what I understand, they do not own the farm around it, which is fine. I cannot afford a full-blown farm. There actually may be somebody here now, and maybe we can find out some more information on it. Or is that just somebody mowing? I'm not sure really what the deal of that tractor setting there, but I don't want to pull in there and start freaking somebody out. So you can see they've got a tractor there and they're mowing. Let me go ahead and roll my window down. And there was a beautiful home setting right about there by that little clump of trees. And then there's 3 beautiful buildings, farm style buildings. Now this would be probably on the first of my list of properties that I would want. I think it's, did they tell me 2.2 acres? Now I know that's not a lot, and it might have been, I've looked at so many, it may have been a whole lot more than that. But look at that. Look, I mean, a beautiful building there, a beautiful building right there. Now I do see it's got a little bit of a saddle in the middle of it, a little sag. That can all be taken care of, although it looks structurally sound. And then I think that's a chicken building over there. Let me see if I can zoom in. There we go. That would make a great chicken barn. And that would make just like a great, garage to restore vehicles in, or, like a personal garage. And then this over here be for storage, tractors and lawnmowers and stuff of that nature. And then build the house, like right, let me try to get my finger up there. Like right there, build the house. So we're going to go ahead and go on to the next one. And this right here was probably my #1 pick. Absolutely be my #1 pick right there. So let me get off of here and we'll see you guys at the next place. Okay. And the next piece of property I'm going to bring you to look at, which should be about the 4th one, is going to be, you're just going to have to basically listen to me and I'll point a few places. So right past this power line, you'll see that little chunk of woods right over there. There is actually a homestead over there. And the home is no longer there. Some of my concerns on this, and I know the people that own it very well, they own all the field out here. Of course, the field is not for sale. There's a pretty good patch of woods that leads clear from a road over here all the way around I can't tell you how many acres it is. I've got it wrote down at home. I would possibly be interested in all of it, but I was thinking somehow they don't own the front part, and the people that own, well, see, and they also own half of this woods, but I think the people that own the other half of the woods owns the front part, but I may be mistaken on that. I'll have to call them back and get some. If they own it, then I could buy it with rights to get to it. You know, without that, there's not going to be a way to get to the land. So I just have to do a lot of figuring out on that property. Now I'll tell you a little bit of, let me get back in the truck. There's a lot of traffic right now. So let me get back out in the truck so people don't think I'm broke down. So a little bit about the property. And the other property that we're going to go look at is attached to these woods right here, and I'll explain that here in just a minute. And you'll see a little bit as we drive. All right, let me get up out of this ditch. Okay, so I run across the property because I have permission to hunt back there. And when I was back there hunting, like I said, right over in there, I started finding like an old silo, and even as new as a older but newer riding lawnmower. And what I mean by newer is I don't know when they started making riding lawnmowers. Now this is actually the kind that you actually had to crank up on top of the motor and then hit a button. You know, it would go under pressure and you'd hit a button and the spring would allow it to start. But you know, that had to be even from the 50s on. You know, I don't know how old that lawnmower was, but there's also hay rakes back there and all kinds of other old junky equipment. So at one time, I think they did have power to the house that was there. The house is no longer there. You can find the foundation, but the house is no longer there. But I don't see any power lines present. But that doesn't mean that I didn't look good enough and didn't find them. Now, that piece of property to them is a thorn in their side. They lease the farmland out, but they don't do anything other than let a few people hunt on the other properties. So, and that's all still it right over there. You see the green trees. And we're going to come down through here, and we're not going to go very far. I would say no more than 2 miles away from each other. But if you walked it, you know, you cut straight across, it wouldn't be but from where we just turned to where we're turning right now. So that being said, I'll show you the front side of it. I think they own the front side of it. I think the other family owns the other side, and I'll show you that too. Okay, this is the woods coming up right here. And of course, I can't afford to buy that whole section. But what I would be interested in doing is buying the end finger of the section if they will give me right away to the property. You know, in writing, of course. And maybe, you know, like down through that little side road right there. There are a couple other little pull-offs. Now, there may be power back in there. I didn't look that good. Here's more. You know, it looks like there might have been an old road back in through there at one time. I've got a friend of mine that lives up here across from it. And he thought that there was an old road that went back there. And it would have been right, goodness, I think it's right up here on top of this crest. Yeah, right there. He thought that there was, let me make sure there's nothing behind me. He thought that the old road that led back to it was right there. Now, I haven't actually walked it to see, but if there's a way to access that property back there, even if it had to be off-grid, I might be able to mess with that, and I'll explain that later. See, this is the clearing in between where the power lines are. Now, this land over here is owned by somebody different. Now we're coming up to the next place that we're going to look at, and probably the last place for this video. I had a couple more in mind, but they are more in like a little area type deal, and I'm trying to figure out where I want to pull in here. We'll just pull right in here to the, as you can see, this place ain't been used long enough that the driveway's gone. So let me get out. Now, we're not going to walk up on this place, but I can get out and kind of zoom up there. It's a little place on the hill. There's a few things that bother me about here, like where do you park when it snows, but I could always bring an excavator in and flatten this out up to a certain point, or just use four-wheel drive or whatever. But there's also a building back behind of it. It's a good little chunk of land. I think there's a total of 3.62 acres here or something like that. And we'll get back in the vehicle, and I'll once again, I'll kind of run you down on what I know of it. The gentleman that owned it, I had spoke to him before about buying it, before he ever started on it. And it's completely gutted. It had water damage. The pipes had froze. Somebody had moved out. I think it was a rental. Pipes had froze, or they let it go back to the bank. Anyways, the pipes froze and ruined the whole inside. Now, the outside does need some work, but not a ton. But the inside, that house right there is basically an envelope. There's nothing on the inside. There's no rafters. There's no anything. So it would have to be completely redone. But I would redo it anyways, and that's half the work already done. There is a building out back that's not much of a building, but it is a building. There's tons of hunting land all the way on that side. There's actually an old gravel quarry back in there. Okay, so the gentleman that I spoke to that owned it, he had just bought it. He passed away. Now his dad owns it, kind of, but from what I understand, it's in like a probate court or some type of a court system, to where I understand the guy that I talked about buying it from did not have a will, but his dad is fighting it, and I guess is going to win and be able to claim title to it. I haven't actually talked to him yet. You know, how do you go up and talk to somebody about a property that their son that had passed away? You know, it's just going to be a touchy situation. There's something along the road, a beaver. No, that's a groundhog. Let's see if we can get him to say hello. Hello, Mr. Groundhog. He's gone. So, anyways, that's that piece of property. There's also another piece of property here off to the left, but they're actually using it right now because it's farm season, and there used to be a home sitting there. I don't think I can get that one. Anyways, back to the other one. It's just basically I've got to lock in with him again and talk to him, and it's a pain in his butt, so to speak, a thorn in his side, because he has to go out there and keep it up and everything, and people just don't want to do that. So I'm going to end this video, and the next video that I'm going to make as soon as I get home is going to be an explanation more, and we'll go into detail on all these properties. And I just wanted you to physically be able to see what I'm looking at, and the next video will be a lot of explanations about when I'm looking at doing this, how I'm going about doing this and everything. So anyways, please like, comment down below, and please, please, please subscribe. I'm really trying to grow my channel, and we will see you guys on the next video. I hope you have a great day, and even better tomorrow, and an awesome night. And we will see you on the next video coming up shortly.